but you can't have just one person that represents the beauty standard of the world. But back to, am I ugly? That's for you to decide. It's a personal thing. Each one of us has to get to the point to where we're okay with who we are. We accept who we are. There are days I look in the mirror and it's like, man, not too shabby. I'm looking okay. And there's other days where I was like, man, these doggone cheeks just won't leave me alone. Oh my goodness gracious, why won't they go away? I'm feeling chunky today. I'm not feeling or looking my best. But I accept who I am. All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of Do Your Life Justice with a new installment of Just My Thoughts. So, originally, I was going to do another series, and this time talking about logical fallacies. So, all the different logical fallacies. I was going to do that today. However, I was scrolling through Reddit, and I hadn't been on Reddit in a couple weeks. And I read a post talking about how people who aren't in relationships, it's not because you're ugly. And so people, start to feel insecure. I'm this age and I've never been in a relationship. And so the post was saying that you're not ugly. And they put a link to another Reddit group subreddit called Am I Ugly? And I'd never heard of this Am I Ugly group on Reddit. And so I clicked on it. And basically all it is a bunch of people posting their pictures and asking the question, am I ugly? There's another Reddit subgroup called Roast Me or something like that, where people intentionally post a picture of themselves and they want people to make fun of them. That's the whole point of the Roast Me group. But this group, Am I Ugly, is a bunch of insecure people asking people to rate them and give honest assessments of them to determine whether or not the person is ugly. And seeing it, I don't know, I felt weird. I felt weird about it. Because I've seen, with Instagram and even Facebook, social media, period, a lot of times people post for praise. Most people aren't posting for criticism and critique. And so the question popped into my head, basically what they're saying, what the name of the subreddit is, am I ugly? And I started to wonder, what determines that? What determines if we are ugly? To be bold enough to post your picture when you have insecurities about yourself and about your appearance and ask people to give their assessment of you. That takes a lot of courage. And it's a lot of different people, men, women, older, younger, different nationalities, all the different looks and stuff like that. And they're all asking, am I ugly? And I would venture to say that they all have different reasons as to why they're asking that question. Why are you insecure about what you look like? Maybe I tried to talk to this person and they rejected me. Did they reject me because I'm ugly? Maybe I look in the mirror every morning and I'm not particularly fond of the reflection, the image that I see reflected back at me. Is that why I feel that I'm ugly? Maybe because every day I'm flooded with commercials and posts and magazine articles and everyone telling me what beauty is, and I know that I don't look like what's being told to me is beautiful. Is that why I think I'm ugly? I haven't read up on who created this subreddit, when it was started, or what the reason for starting it was. But that's a good question. Am I ugly? We're in the age of technology. We're in the age of social media, where we have access to see people from all around the world. The standard of beauty. I actually looked at what the standard of beauty was. And I'm going to read a little bit about what is considered by the people who are in the positions to promote, I guess you could say, what that standard is. Do we think that people would be as insecure if we didn't have this connection to the world? Would people be so uncertain about where they measure up if they didn't see on a daily basis someone else that someone considered to be beautiful that they didn't look like? Are we being programmed to only assume that beauty looks a certain way? Yes, there's the expression, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. And I agree with that. Because we all have our idea of a beautiful person. We all are attracted to whatever it is that we're attracted to. Some people like tall people, others like short, some like skinny, some like fat, different races, nationalities, lip size, nose size, so on and so forth. Yes, beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but on a general level, are we being programmed to see beauty a certain way? According to the readings, it's not necessarily programming. It's more natural. It's the natural instinct and inclination to be drawn to certain things. And that inclination is towards symmetry. So if you haven't heard of the golden ratio, you see it in art, you see it in nature, you hear it in music. It's a symmetry, it's a perfection. So that has been used as the standard of beauty, and it's attributed to the Greeks. So the Greeks came up with this ratio that the perfect face is a symmetrical face, which means it's balanced. Okay. And so in my studies, I came across and this is out of almost 8 billion people. Out of almost 8 billion people, this one person has been determined by science to be the most beautiful woman in the world. All right, so let me read. This is from Economic Times. Science says this is the most beautiful woman in the world. The perfect face. Supermodel Bella Hadid has been declared the most beautiful woman in the world after she passed a science test that determines what constitutes the perfect face. Her score, 94.35% accurate to phi. Phi is the equation. So it comes out to 1.618, I think, is the calculation. And so they deem that calculation phi. Okay. The 23-year-old was found to be 94.35% accurate to the golden ratio of beauty phi, a measure of physical perfection. So if you get a 94% in school, that's an A. You're a pretty doggone good student. So when they calculated her symmetry and her measurements of her face, this is strictly just the face, she was determined to be the most attractive woman because she had the highest score. Now, I will say that this person, I think this was a plastic surgeon that ran this test. And so who he was looking at, his sample size, I think he kept it comprised of celebrities, so people in the public eye. Because I have traveled around the world and I have seen some gorgeous, gorgeous women. I'm not saying that Bella is not an attractive woman. She's very beautiful. But I've seen some women that look better than her. But according to this plastic surgeon and the bubble that he's operating in, which is comprised of celebrities, she has been deemed the best looking woman in the world. All Greek. Her eyes, eyebrows, nose, lips, chin, jaw, and facial shape came closest to the ancient Greeks' idea of perfection. So all of this, the golden ratio, is coming from the Greeks. So European ideology of beauty. So disregarding Africa, disregarding Asia, disregarding the Americas. This is a European standard of beauty. The measurements were conducted by Dr. Julian Da Silva, an eminent facial cosmetic surgeon at London's famous Harley Street. Okay, so he's a plastic surgeon. So he does work on women all the time, women going in under the knife. So he has to have a very good understanding of the face and how to enhance looks and everything like that. So it's pretty credible as far as his idea and standards of how to make a woman improve upon her looks. Beyonce comes in second. Singer Beyonce, 38, was second with 92.44%. Actress Amber Heard, Johnny Depp's ex-wife, 33, was third with 91.85%. And pop star Ariana Grande, 26, was fourth with 91.81%. Okay, so there's a list of the top 10 most attractive women in the world, celebrities in the world. Out of the 10, of course, surprisingly that there was even one, but there was one black person, and that was Beyonce, who's seen as the second most attractive woman in the world. The other 9 women are all white women. Again, this is European standards, but it's based upon the symmetry of the face and everything like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about how they calculate it as well. So the golden ratio. The golden ratio of beauty, phi, originated from the European Renaissance. Several artists used the equation as an aid to create their masterpieces. So this goes back to when Leonardo was painting the Mona Lisa, which is, he used the symmetry. But personally, I don't look at the Mona Lisa and think, oh, that's a beautiful woman. I think she's average at best. She's not a woman that I would consider beautiful, but they say he used the symmetry, and I think they even have the Fibonacci sequence in there as well to measure the distance from the forehead to the chin and the face width versus the length and everything like that for the Mona Lisa. Hadid's score. Scientists have since adapted the mathematical formula to explain what makes a person beautiful. Hadid, according to Silva, has the highest overall reading for her chin, which with a score of 99.7%. That's a pretty high freaking score. That's basically perfection. Only a 0.3% away from being perfect. So her chin, you'll see the picture pop up with Hadid. So her score, chin ratio, was a 99.7%. Imagine. Your chin makes you the most beautiful person in the world. 1.6 factor. According to the golden ratio, the ideal result is roughly 1.6. Hadid, according to Silva, came second to Scarlett Johansson for her eye positioning. Okay, so Scarlett Johansson had a better eye positioning as far as, so they say that the width between your eyes should be the same distance as each one of your eyes. Okay, so if you measure this distance right here, each one of your eyes should be that same width. And I think mine are. So I have beautiful eyes, other than the bags. Okay, she's one of the new generations of supermodels, and could dominate the profession for the next decade with her stunning looks. Her biggest weakness is in the brow area. So this area, so her brows. So that's where her numbers kind of go down a little bit. How to measure beauty. The measurement starts from the forehead hairline. So I'm bald, but you can see the hairline area. So from there to the bottom of the chin, right? From the forehead hairline area to the spot between the eyes. Okay, so you have here, then to the bottom of the nose. So here, so it should be 3 different portions, but they should be equal. Here to the bottom of your nose, and then to the bottom of your chin. Bottom of the nose, and from there to the bottom of the chin. So those should all be equal. That's part of the symmetry. That's equal. All right. A person is considered to be more beautiful if the numbers are equal. Silva used this computerized mapping technique for Hadid's measurements. So to determine that Bella Hadid was the most attractive woman in the world, he did all of these tests on her face to determine that the distance between here and here and here and here are all the same. And then I think from your forehead hairline to your chin has to be 1.5 the size of your face width. So your face length has to be 1.5 times the face width. That gives you the 1.6. All right, so that's what they're determining whether or not a person is attractive or not. So the symmetry. So, like I said, out of the 10 most attractive women in the world, only one was a person of color. And so initially, of course, I was a little skeptical about it. You know, that's we're judging beauty based on a European standard, but it's looking at symmetry. But again, these are just celebrities, and there are thousands and millions of celebrities around the world. So I would like to look at his sample size. What group of women did he look at to determine that these are the most symmetrical women around the world? I will post the links to this article that I just read. And also, if you want to measure yourself or your husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend to determine, are you attractive according to the standard, the symmetry standard, I'll post that link as well. But it's amazing how we are all filled with ideas of what beauty is. Now, there are some women out there that, you know, you can just look at and say, okay, this is universally accepted. That's an attractive woman. I think most people, you'll see the picture of Bella, you know, would say, okay, she's pretty attractive. She's an attractive woman. Would you consider her to be the best looking woman in the world? Depending on where you're from. If you're from Europe, probably, possibly. If you're from Africa, probably not. If you're from Asia, probably not. South America, hell no. You're not. So I think there is a cultural, regional element to it. But I think we can accept that symmetry is beautiful. We look at butterflies. You know, you look at their wings and they have the same pattern on the wings. Oh, that's a beautiful butterfly. You look at flowers, you know, the shape of the petals and everything like that. You can appreciate the beauty. Or a tree. You see the symmetry in the tree. So I do agree with symmetry being a standard of beauty. However, I think there's a little more that should go into it when it comes to determining, at least when we're talking about a ranking of the most beautiful person in the world. You know, even if you need to divide it up and say the most beautiful European woman, the most beautiful Asian woman, the most beautiful African, the most so on and so forth. But you can't have just one person that represents the beauty standard of the world. But back to, am I ugly? That's for you to decide. It's a personal thing. Each one of us has to get to the point to where we're okay with who we are. We accept who we are. There are days I look in the mirror and it's like, man, not too shabby. I'm looking okay. And there's other days where I was like, man, these doggone cheeks just won't leave me alone. Oh my goodness gracious, why won't they go away? I'm feeling chunky today. I'm not feeling or looking my best. But I accept who I am. So for you people out there who feel the need that you have to get validation from someone, and especially a stranger, and you have to ask the question, am I ugly? My answer to you is yes, if you think you are. You need to be your biggest and best cheerleader. There are several even attractive people who are insecure. And no matter how many people tell them, no, you're beautiful, you're gorgeous, you're wonderful, da, 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 you still have that insecurity. You go on I'm fat. I need to stop eating. And you become a bulimic or an anorexic because you look in the mirror and you see a hideous person. All of the encouragement and validation from the world means nothing because it's here. You have to look in the mirror and see yourself as beautiful. That energy radiates to the world. You have to show people how to see you. You have to show people how to treat you. So until you stop seeing yourself as ugly, you're ugly. Love yourself. Embrace yourself. You didn't choose what skin you were born into. You didn't choose your eye color, your eye shape, your head shape, whether or not you were going to have hair or not. You didn't choose any of that. You can embrace it, or you can be like some and go under the knife and try to change it and completely alter who you are. You can starve yourself, or you can go and work out. That's a positive thing. I'm going to work out. I don't like being fat. I want to get in shape. All right, do that, but do it for you. You feel better about you. That's what's important. You asking other people to judge you and asking other people to validate you, that's not going to make you feel better. You need to have an honest conversation with yourself so that when you look in the mirror and you ask that question to yourself, am I ugly? Then you can say, no, I'm not. Today, I feel good about myself. With my crooked eyes, my cross eyes, with my buck teeth, with my missing teeth, with my graying hair or my missing hair. Today, I feel good about myself. And I'm going to celebrate the face and the body that I have. I can still appreciate other people. I can still look at someone else and say, that's a beautiful person. That's a beautiful woman. That's a beautiful man. I can still appreciate them, but I can appreciate myself as well. I'm not saying be cocky. I'm not saying be deluded and say, oh, I'm the best looking person. I can get anyone in the world that I want. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying celebrate yourself. Love yourself. Respect yourself. That's just my thought. Let me know your thoughts. Do you agree with the standard of beauty? Do you agree with the measurements? Do you agree with the list? Do you agree with asking other people to validate your looks? Share your thoughts. Yeah. Thank you guys. For those of you that are still watching, those of you that have stuck with me, thank you guys for tuning in. Like I say, I had no intentions of doing this video, but I felt that it was important to do. So, stay tuned. Remember, you only have one life. So love yourself with it. And make sure you do it justice.